guys, so we're talking about the brand Drunk Elephant and how it went from everyone's favorite to until it's not. So let's dive into it. Drunk Elephant was founded in 2012 by Tiffany Masterson, who was an average housewife and decided to do some research into skincare when her sensitive skin reacted badly to several of the products that she herself had used in the past. And eventually she launched her brand Drunk Elephant in 2013. Now, ever since the moment of its launch, Drunk Elephant have been marketed as this clean beauty brand who never uses any of the ingredients that they dubbed the Suspicious Six, which is basically a list of 6 irritants that they says they don't include in any Drunk Elephant products, like ever. So a few of those ingredients are essential oils, chemical sunscreens, and silicone, and just stuff like that. And the Suspicious Six are what Drunk Elephant dubbed as the cause to every skin problem that anyone can ever have. So they leave no room for any other. And this will be an important thing later on, so remember it. It's like the cause of one of their first big scandal. So Drunk Elephant was truly launched into the right era, because in the 2010s it was when clean beauty was becoming the next big thing, and Drunk Elephant was considered one of the pioneers of the clean beauty trend. And when the trend eventually took off, Drunk Elephant benefited greatly from it, and it became a really popular brand. And then in 2015, Drunk Elephant officially made its way onto the Sephora website, and it sold really well ever since it got on there, and it became a quite popular brand. And up to the events of its first big scandal, Drunk Elephant have maintained its image as this mostly unproblematic and quite popular brand. So what is their first big scandal? So their first big scandal is basically when dermatologists and skincare experts were getting quite popular because it's clean beauty and people are getting obsessed with what they're using is actually good for the skin or not, because clean beauty is like skin first, makeup second, that philosophy. So these experts are saying that some of these ingredients in the Suspicious Six can actually be really good for your skin if it's used properly. So like it can enhance the experience that you have when you use the products. It can make it feel nicer, smell nicer, whatever. So people started criticizing the Drunk Elephant team by saying that, oh, they don't have an good enough knowledge of skincare and they are misleading their buyers into thinking that these are the problem to every single skin problem that they can ever have. And people are calling them like they're fear mongering, they're selling their products by fear. And obviously Drunk Elephant's team denied all of these, and in an interview with Get the Gloss, the founder Tiffany Masterson said, "When I was creating Drunk Elephant, I knew there were 6 ingredients that I wasn't going to include. That's not that because they're dangerous. I'm not scaremongering by not including them. In fact, they're used by lots of other brands to make products smell pretty or feel pretty. But they don't nourish the skin, and I didn't want that. I only wanted to include ingredients that will feed and strengthen the acid mantle, and I avoid ingredients that can trigger issues in the skin." If you don't know what the acid mantle is, because it doesn't get talked about a lot, it's a part of the skin that naturally creates acids, lipids, and loads of great stuff that your skin needs. Drunk Elephant is a very much focused on feeding and supporting the acid mantle rather than stripping it. Now, I think there is nothing wrong with believing that these ingredients are maybe irritants to your own skin, so you don't want to include that in your brand. I think that is completely fine. However, what people had a problem with this interview is the part where she was talking about the acid mantle. Now, the acid mantle isn't actually something that generates acid and stuff that are really good for your skin by magic. It is actually created by all your other body functions using these acids, and it's like a thin layer over your skin. So people started saying, that she is no skincare expert and she's not actually listening to the expert. So that was their first big scandal. However, that's not that big of a thing. And it's not enough to just make or break Drunk Elephant. And Drunk Elephant remained a really profitable brand, and eventually in 2015 it was acquired. Oh, did I say 2015? Sorry guys, I meant 2019. And in 2019 it was eventually acquired by the Japanese beauty giant Shiseido for $145 million. That's a lot of money now, people. That's a lot of money. We can see how profitable it is. So then that's when their second big scandal happened. So they started having these little suspicious comments on the internet. So what happened was people were saying how, oh, some of Drunk Elephant's stuff maybe isn't so good or anything, and then some random users just started popping up and defending Drunk Elephant against these random people online who are criticizing Drunk Elephant. However, people did eventually find out that these random users are actually using like the official Drunk Elephant Instagram. So people started saying that, oh, Drunk Elephant is using their official Instagram to have petty arguments with people online, and they faced significant backlash over that, and that was a really big scandal. However, that also wasn't enough to drag it down from the glory of being everybody's favorite just yet. What totally broke it was when the Sephora Kid trend happened. And Sephora Kids, so these kids started obsessing over Drunk Elephant, and it became the next big viral thing on TikTok. However, the thing about virality is it's easy to get it, but can you keep it? So it came viral on TikTok and Sephora Kids are buying it. However, the thing about Drunk Elephant is that its target demo is not really kids. The target demo should be older Gen Zs and millennials, because some of the products include stuff like retinol and just really strong ingredients that are maybe not so good for the kid's skin. I talked about this in my Sephora Kids video. So the kids are starting to buy Drunk Elephant, and Drunk Elephant did not discourage these kids. Well, they did eventually, but like that came out way too late. And these kids are buying Drunk Elephant, and Drunk Elephant are not stopping these kids, and people are seeing that as irresponsible and allowing these kids to destroy their skin and their skin barriers because they are using retinol way too young. So people are criticizing Drunk Elephant over their conduct over the Sephora Kid scandal thing. Eventually, even the Sephora Kids started not liking Drunk Elephant, and this was bad for Drunk Elephant because at first it had all these Sephora Kids loving Drunk Elephant, and that was fine for it. However, its original target demo have also moved away because when the Sephora Kid trend was happening, people started seeing Drunk Elephant as, oh, it's a new Claire's. Kids are obsessed with this, so they didn't want to be associated with it anymore, and they didn't want to use it. So kids became its target demo instead. However, when kids moved away, they had no one. Absolutely no one. And then that's when they started their recent new rebrand, where they want to make themselves back into the brand that everyone fell in love with. And they started doing this whole new campaign with the slogan, "Please enjoy responsibly." And they wiped all their old posts from Instagram and replaced them with their new campaign of selling it to adults and their old target demo. However, people are seemingly not falling back in love with Drunk Elephant. So now we'll just have to wait and see if Drunk Elephant can regain its relevance and popularity. Do you think it will? Drop a comment down below if you think it will. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!